Coming up on this week's show, Alfa Romeo demonstrates how a performance SUV should be done with the Stelvio Q. Inside here we have a 2.9-litre V6 engine, of course turbo, and that will take you from 0 to 100 in just under 4 seconds. Citroën enters the coupe SUV segment with the ambitious new Basalt.
I would describe the Basalt as spicy. It's like, it's an unexpected flavor type of car. It's not for everybody, but it's for everyone who wants to stand out.
And Juliet finds out how the Changan Hunter stacks up against other affordable bakkies.
It's got 6 airbags, ESP, it's got a reverse camera, it's got park distance control, so you are sort of covered from features and safety point of view.
Thank you for tuning in to Ignition GT. As you can see, the team has put together another exciting and varied lineup, and I cannot wait to get straight into it. But first, let's find out what our guests have been driving. And we have Charles and Phoebe.
Hello.
We should do it like a twin.
Oh,
Charles is jealous. Charles, the
I'm
industry always thinks I'm Phoebe, and they think Phoebe is me. I'm just the chunkier version, but can't you see it?
No, I'm not going to comment on that. Otherwise, I'm getting into trouble.
Please comment.
And then you get people writing, say, how can you say things like that?
Yeah, maybe less now because you will be cancelled.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, let's get into what you've been driving. What's been happening in your world?
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but it's been that actually that I've been driving for the last couple of days. So I'm not going to comment on that. We'll wait for the segment later.
Yeah.
But it's been basically that, yes.
Oh, and it's been quite good as well. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
I cried when it went back, to be honest.
Know the feeling.
Sad day.
I've been driving a Tata Harrier.
How's the Harrier been? Because I had a bit of not such a great time in the curve, but I know the Harrier is a bit better in terms of build. Did you experience that, or what are your thoughts?
It is better as their flagship model, I would say, but I'm not too impressed by it. I expected a bit more refinement considering that it's built on a Land Rover Discovery Sport platform. It's got a Fiat diesel engine, so I expected more refinement in terms of how it was going to drive, how it was going to feel. So it's obviously not the last car they're going to bring into South Africa. They're going to be more, they're going to improve it. It's a good first step, but there's so much that could be better.
Do you share the same sentiments, Charles?
Yes. I drove it about last year, and it was exactly for me the same. The engine is a little bit, they could have spruced it up a little bit, and there was just some irritating details about it, and it feels a little bit undone. But again, it's been updated a couple of times already, so it feels its age, and was a bit disappointed. And in that segment of the market, yes, they're coming back. We all know Tatas of the past, but it's going to be very, very difficult for them to, especially compared to the Chinese.
Yes.
When it comes to performance models, it's all in the letters. BMW has M, Audi has RS, for Mercedes-Benz it's AMG, and on the Toyota it's GR. One letter that stands apart, however, for representing a unique blend of dynamism, exclusivity, style and charisma is the Alfa Romeo's Q. The Alfa Romeo Stelvio made its South African debut back in 2017, and it immediately captured the hearts not only of local aficionados but also of the motoring media. In 2021, the Italian SUV came up for a midlife refresh, and Juliet drove the updated Veloce derivative 2 years later. It may not be the newest kid on the block, but when we were offered the chance to sample this range-topping quadrifoglio version, we weren't about to say no. It's a very left field choice from all the other competitors that you could buy in the segment. But, I mean, just look at it. There's something very domineering about it. Very Italian. And let's go into those looks, because starting with the styling, it has these classic LED lines that are quite sleek and also have the trio barrel design inside. And in the middle, you have a pizza sliced grill, which I actually quite love. It's so very Italian of the brand to do that like that. On the bonnet is also air intakes on both sides, and the bonnet itself also has some striking lines that run through it, which also makes the car look very robust in its presence as well. It also features an angular front lip, which emphasizes its sporty nature. Now, over on the side, it also has 20-inch wheels. I do think that the wheel selection really makes the profile of the car stand out. It also comes in this beautiful metallic color called the Verde Montreal, which is one of my favorite colors in the Alfa Romeo range. Towards the rear, it haunches into a sloping roofline and just accentuating its athletic, sporty coupe-esque design. In the back, we have a bit of a raised bum happening over here, as well as the Q4 badging on the left-hand side of the car. And that just shows you that this car is a four-wheel drive. Inside, the boot is actually quite decent, about 500 liters odd of boot space in here. You do have your subwoofer. Inside is a very good sound system, Harman Kardon, that you do get on the Stelvio, as well as some of the models that you have in the Alfa Romeo stable. You can see that there are some elements of this car that makes it feel a bit dated, especially compared to some of its competitors who have modernized their cabins quite a bit. Looking at the dash area, there's some nice materials that have been used. You've got some leather just wrapped dash area. You also have a nice woven material that you see over here. And then we have the small screen. I do think this is where the age shows quite a bit, because essentially you're going to think that this is the whole screen, but it's literally just a small little pop-up screen. This also does not have the best sort of graphics. It also is a bit laggy at times, just navigating through the menu as well. And it's also not the most user-friendly. Going from that into something I do appreciate, however, are the use of buttons. The center is also covered in that woven-like material around this gear area. You also have a rotary dial that will take you through to the menu. In your center console is where you can charge your phone. The steering wheel features some Alcantara with multifunctional buttons and a red start-stop button, which I quite like because that just shows how sporty this car can get. It's such a rare occurrence these days that I get to drive a car that ignites some excitement and emotion in me, and today is such a day because I'm driving the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Q4. And what Q4 really stands for is excitement and more throttle. I was quite excited to be getting the Stelvio on test because I really had the highest of hopes for this car. It's got such a firm suspension that I do think that might be my sort of flaw that I have with the drive quality, because that obviously means that you can feel all that the road throws at you. You can soften up the suspension quite a bit with the driving mode on D. It just firms up that suspension, and you can hear just how loud those exhaust notes are, especially if you crack the window open just to enjoy some of that theatric that this car has to offer. Inside here we have a 2.9 litre V6 engine, of course turbo, and it is good for 375 kilowatts and 600 Newton meters of torque, which is quite a lot, and that will take you from 0 to 100 in just under 4 seconds. I would talk about fuel efficiency, but
doesn't really matter because if one is buying this car, they really do not care. But I can tell you that it is quite thirsty, so your pockets better be ready. Well, starting at about 1.3 million rand for the Stelvio Veloce and up to 2.233 odd million rand for the Quadrifoglio. Yes, it is quite a hefty amount, and I can already hear that, oh, I would rather get a that. Yeah, well, how can I say, there's a buyer for every car.
Welcome back to Ignition GT. Beautiful to behold and even better to drive. The Stelvio Q is everything you'd expect from an Alfa Romeo and more, but it competes in a highly contested segment. So how does it fare against other high performance SUV? And I'd like for you guys to tell me. Sean is already smiling. He's like a cover to delve into this because we had so much fun.
Look, I think it's a completely unique option. You are not, it's got its rivals from the Germans and the British, but it's completely different in feel to drive. There's always been the thing that it's not as ultra hardcore as, let's say, the Giulia QV.
Yeah.
Which I get it because it's a high riding SUV and it feels its weight in some areas, but it is still something incredibly special to drive. The driving position is just, I'm probably going to get into trouble for saying this, but it's almost near perfect.
Yeah.
And when you have those magnesium paddle shifters, you're actually doing that car a disservice, not using the paddles.
Yes.
It is just such a focused driver-centric thing to drive.
It's such a fun car, like so engaging. And I don't know if you also felt this, Phoebe, as you're also just driving and moving on the pedals as well, manual shifters, and you hear the sound just hitting that exhaust pipe. I mean, what does that do to you as you're driving? You know?
My goodness, that sound. I would definitely say that car is a car lover's dream. And like Charles was saying, that it's got rivals from the Germans and the British, but it's got such a completely different personality. And being someone who already owns an Italian car, I can see how they think and how they do things and how that's so completely different. There are parts of the interior in there where you're like, well, why would you do that? And then you're like, just start the car. It's like, it's fine.
And it's okay.
It's
you
totally
just
okay.
forget about it.
You forget about it and you just drive. It's
and let's
so
maybe
rewarding.
talk about some of those little points that you found to be a bit, they could have just done better.
Yeah.
Because I found some of the interior parts a bit dated as compared to its competitors. They're more modern and,
Yes.
But, what are some of those little things that got you thinking why?
I would think of the screen, for example, and the placement of the volume buttons. And then I can't remember what it was, but I had buttons for the volume, but I had a knob for something else. I'm like, I would rather have a knob for the button for the volume. And like you're saying, it does feel a bit dated, but I think that's where its personality actually shines through. When I sit there and I look at that car inside and out and driving experience, that is a personality that sits in a league of its own.
That's true.
And someone who wants to drive a car that is rewarding, that is driver-centric, and that is absolutely brilliant would go for a Stelvio.
Yeah.
After driving it once, you will do that.
Okay, that is a mouthful. Maybe Charles, just closing it off. I mean, let's talk about practicality. Did you feel like it was as practical as its counterparts?
In the practicality area, look at the back. It's quite what I call snug at the back, especially if you are a little bit of a taller person. It does rob a little bit of headroom, and because of the seats at the front as well, legroom is a little bit impacted. The boot is massive when you open it, especially when you drop the rear seats forward. But the thing is, when you're driving it, it's almost as if that whole sense of practicality and sitting in the back just disappears completely. And as I've experienced with the Mito many times before, you cannot drive that thing slowly.
No,
you want to put that dynamic dial into dynamic mode the whole time. Take it out of normal and just flatboard it, because you're doing it a disservice by driving it slowly, because the whole time the car's encouraging you, come on, drive.
It
And
wants to go faster.
Exactly, and with 375 kilowatts, you can really take it slowly.
600 Newton
Yes,
there. That's crazy.
And I must say, it's also a nice break from a lot of the cars we'll be getting that don't have that same excitement and feel and just, engaging, drivability about them. While we turn our attention now from Italian car makers to the French, Citroën has been making steady inroads into the entry-level segment with its range of C3 models, and fueled by the success, the company is now setting its sights on other segments of the market, including that of the coupe SUV.
The car we're launching today is the all-new Citroen Basalt in South Africa. We've entered the market in the B hatch segment of the market with the C3, and later on in 2024 we've launched the Aircross and the SUV crossover segment of the market. And for the first time now we have a fastback with a different bold look and style.
For the South African market, the thing that we had to get right with this particular model is that we had to make sure that we have the right height. With the potholes that we have, the Citroen Basalt comes with 180 millimeter ground clearance, which is perfectly great for the potholes in our country.
I think my favorite non-obvious feature of the car is probably the engine. And I think a lot of people will praise that. Normally cars like this are not known to have performance-orientated engines. It's a very loose word to use in this car, but I feel like with a car like this, people will be caught off guard because it does pick up speed, so it gets to 120 kilometers an hour quite quickly. The turbo is much needed in Joburg because of altitude, so I think besides any of those features, I think the motor is probably the strongest part, and that's what will catch people off guard, because getting to a destination fast is also a high priority list, and I think that's what people will enjoy.
We've got two derivatives. We've got the Plus and the Max, but they're both turbocharged. 6-speed automatic, not a CVT. It's got all the things that you want in the car in terms of comfort, which is something that Citroen is known for. And the starting price for the Basalt is just over 350,000, 354,900. So it's a real bargain. Also comes standard with a 4-year service plan or 60,000 kilometers.
So I think if I was a young professional seeking a small, B segment SUV, I would really consider this. The power you get instead of other manufacturers with naturally aspirated engines. I think you're really winning with this. I drove it on the highway and I was really impressed with how it drives and the amount of power you get even on high speeds. So if I can change something about the Basalt, I would just give it some bigger wheels. I think, there are a few competitors in the industry that has 17 or even 18-inch wheels and a bit wider tread as well.
I actually thought, geez, it looks a bit like a BMW X2, that Grand Coupe kind of like sport bakkie back, which I thought the looks were really good. I thought power was good with the turbo. I think it's one of the most powerful cars in the segment. And steering at times I felt was a little light, but maybe it was also because I was going on stone. Oh, and I really liked the sound system. I put some beats to the Viking thing and got some good sound coming from it.
I would describe the Basalt as spicy. It's like, it's an unexpected flavor type of car. It's not for everybody, but it's for everyone who wants to stand out.
Nothing I like more than when a new bakkie enters the South African market. Look, okay, they're never ever quite the disruptors I would like them to be, just to like mix things up a bit, make things a little less boring and predictable like we've seen the past however many years. But regardless, when a new bakkie comes in, it gets me a little bit excited, and especially when it comes in at such a good price point. Now I'm driving the Changan, or Changan, however you want to say it. I say Changan. Okay, it might be wrong. Changan. Changan. I'm going with that. This is the Hunter bakkie that arrived last year. Now, I'm in the turbo diesel, and I'm in the four-wheel drive version. There is also a two-wheel drive version. But what gets me excited is the fact that the two-wheel drive model kicks off at just 450,000 Rand. Okay, and then this comes in at 570,000 Rand. That's under 600,000 Rand for a double cab. In what world have we seen that of late? So what do you get for that amount of money? Well, first of all, it's got chrome plated door handles, it's got functional roof rails, it's got stainless steel side steps as well, and then you're riding on 18-inch alloys. But now, get inside. What I love probably about this bakkie is the fact that it is mostly buttons. The letdown is the touchscreen. I don't love touchscreens, so it doesn't bother me. But what's worse than that is the fact that it doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Not wireless, not plugged in, bugger all, unfortunately, which is a real bummer. The range extender does come with it. The two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive turbo diesel does not. What you do have here is if you click on here, which is Cell Connect, it takes you to where you can scan, or you just download a third-party app, and then it sort of mirrors the screen, which for some might be enough, actually. But your climate control are buttons, everything. You've got a volume knob. I love all of this. I think as well, if you're driving a bakkie, I think if you're driving any car for that matter, you shouldn't be having to sort of finicky your way through, I don't think that's a word, but we're going to go with it, finicky your way through screens trying to do things like change the climate control. You should be able to just do this, you know where the button is, and off you go. So the engine is a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel. It's got 110 kilowatts of power and 350 newton meters of torque. Now, I know you're obviously like, that's not very powerful, and it's not. It's not going to match the likes of the other sort of top three there who are sitting at 500 newton meters, etc. However, I think one always needs to ask oneself what they are buying a bakkie for. Do you need to be climbing mountains? Or is this going to be a sort of generic workhorse and or your everyday car? This is all you need. From a safety point of view, it's got 6 airbags, ESP, it's got a reverse camera, it's got park distance control, keyless entry, keyless stop start. It's got USB ports, unfortunately only A-type, not C-type ports here, but that's okay for some. Hill start assist, etc. So you are sort of covered from features and safety point of view. The claimed fuel consumption is 9.1 litres per 100 Ks. I think that's pretty good. I think you're going to see a reading of between sort of 9.7, 9.8 maybe. Again, not too bad for this segment, really. You've got a ground clearance of 226 millimeters. Payload is 1,000 kilograms. Okay, let's be just frank about this. It doesn't match in terms of maybe premium features, maybe refinement even, and potentially even modernism. In a way, I still think it's a lovely interior. In fact, I don't feel it to be terribly outdated in any way. But again, if you look at the price point, if you want to get into the bakkie market, it's quite tricky at this time. If you're looking at things like Hilux, Ranger, Isuzu, Amarok, they're really expensive now. Well, all cars are. But it's expensive to get a double cab. So if you're looking for one and you don't want to spend a fortune and you want a brand new one, I think something like this Hunter Turbo Diesel is certainly one to consider.
The
that brings us to the end of this week's show. It's been so fun having you both here.
Thank you.
We could chat on forever and
Right?
never. I love
Well,
it.
we've got time.
I mean, do we
We've got
really?
time.
We
Yeah.
shall keep it moving. We'll see you guys next time.
Aw.
But be sure to join us again next week when Ernest brings you his driving impressions of the Hunter's recently introduced sibling, the Uni S. Mitsubishi hopes to shake things up in the market for affordable 7-seaters with a Destinator. And Juliet puts Sherry's eagerly awaited Tiggo 9 flagship through its paces.